What is going on, everybody? Happy couple days before Christmas. And as long as everybody's cool with hanging out, just a fair warning, this could be a long, long show tonight. Last week we kind of cut it short because I was coughing like crazy, and then on Tuesday of this week, just to get this out of the way, Dave is so politely asking how's Flip. Our Tuesday show was cut super short because Flip had literally a medical emergency. He thought legitimately felt like he was having a heart attack, and that is scary as hell. And handled it the best I could in the moment because I was shocked and stunned. And I have to admit that it was crazy. It was shocking. I was stunned for a long time. But to update everybody, Flip is great. He is doing very well. The hardest thing for him right now is getting used to taking it a little easier. He has been in the habit of pushing things very hard for the last, gosh, for a very long time. And look, there he is. Flip says, "I'm alive. No more caffeine." And yeah, that is one of the things that he's working on. But he is certainly healthy and happy and here and doing better, and he will be here next week. Less energy drinks is certainly on the table. And speaking of that, what's going on, Eric? Good to see you. Future Boys here. How are you? Ragnar, thanks for getting us sort of in the season with those emojis. I love that. Um, like I said, tonight, getting right back into it could be a long show. I am here in the giving spirit, and I've got a lot of shit. So I expected there to be few announcements, but there were way more than I expected. We've got stuff from Imprint, from Aero, from Warner Archive, from Kino, because there's always stuff from Kino. There's some stuff coming from Air 444 and also coming from Third Window. So there is a lot here. What's going on, Mitchell? Glad to see you. But a big thing, I've got a bunch of pickups to go over, some cool, interesting ones that I want to highlight a little bit. And then I haven't opened this other than cutting the top, but I got this today and was going to share those. But if you notice in the title of the video, I recently asked everybody what they wanted to see from the channel. And one of the things people wanted to see was some highlights of some boutique releases that I strongly recommend. So I'm going to possibly do like a beta test of that tonight. I've got 5 releases here that I can rant about and just kind of go on for a few minutes and see what everybody thinks. And if it's something people like, I might turn it into a video series. So we will likely get into that. Future Boy was also shocked with how many announcements. Yeah, usually this is a very light time. John, that sounds amazing. He's eating Indian butter chicken and watching. What a night. That sounds perfect. Flickering Waves, good to see you. Hey, 100. Nerds here too. All right, gang's all here. So let's share some announcements. As we're going through these, as usual, give me some comments. Let's talk and share what you're thinking. This first one, first of all, this is one of my most like I am so stoked that this is getting a good release because I've wanted a better release for this for a very long time. Imprint announced right after the stream last week, by the way, they came out a little early. In March from Imprint, they are putting out one of their fancy hardbox releases of the Osterman Weekend. This is the host of an investigative news show is convinced by the CIA that the friends he has invited to a weekend of the country are engaged in a conspiracy that threatens national security. This is based on a novel by Robert Ludlum, and it's a political thriller that features an all-star cast with Rutger Hauer. I mean, obviously, big favorite of the channel. John Hurt, Burt Lancaster, Dennis Hopper, Meg Foster, Helen Shaver, Chris Sarandon, and coach himself, Craig T. Nelson. This is Sam Peckinpah's final film, and it was initially taken away from his control and released broadly in a re-edited, which is a shortened version. This new special edition release presents brand new 2K scans of the newly sourced 35mm print of his original personal director's cut negative, as well as that cut theatrical cut. This is a great idea because the last Blu-ray release honestly looked absolutely awful. Looked super dark. I can't wait to see what this looks like. This is one I am genuinely anticipating already, and it has only been announced for a little less than a week now. That is going to have a 2-disc hard box with unique artwork on the first 2,000 copies, new 2K scans of both, new audio commentary by Peckinpah expert Mike Siegel, audio commentary with some film historians, featured documentary, Sam's Weekend visual essay by Peckinpah expert Mike Siegel, new featurette, filming of the Osterman Weekend, new featurette, the Osterman Weekend and Pictures, another new featurette, new visual essay, and analyzing the different versions by Chris O'Neill. And of course, Imprint always does really, really great releases from these. So I can't wait to see this. This looks to be something right up my alley. For anybody that has not seen it, Peckinpah is great, and this is one that genuinely deserved treatment like this. But of course, they are putting out other things. One of them is Steve McQueen as the Hunter. This is his last movie, and it shows the dynamic talent of the late great actor and one of his most memorable roles. This is from 1980. Again, getting a brand new 1080p high def presentation, new audio commentary by film historian Jason Ney, and a vintage documentary and some other random. Of course, they got to throw these on everything extras like TV spots, trailers, not a whole lot on this one, but it's Steve McQueen, and it's his last one, so it's a special one. Next one, this is a Sam Fuller film. This is China Gate with some, in my opinion, really interesting, unique artwork on this one. I was first drawn to that, and it really brings that 1957 vibe to this release. In 1954, during the French Indochina War, a Eurasian female smuggler and a group of French Foreign Legion mercenaries infiltrate the enemy territory in order to destroy an arms depot. An early and underrated film from Sam Fuller, starring Angie Dickinson in her first lead role. This does not sound like it's a new scan, just 1080p high def presentation, but new commentary by one of my favorites, Sam Deegan. So that's a lot there. And then in Peace of Mind, a personal look at Chinagate by Samantha Fuller and Krista Lang Fuller, which sounds interesting. And then on this one, a really cool one to highlight here, there's a video essay on the career of Angie Dickinson. That is not something that you see on a lot of these releases. That actually has me pretty intrigued on this one. Not a whole lot other than those, but it's imprint and it'll be decent, I'm sure. I do wish that we were getting a better scan for this, but hey, can't get it on all of them. And then Conquest of Space, one that not many people are talking about. This one seems to be going a little under the radar. This is from 1955. From a space wheel 500 miles above the Earth, Commander Samuel Merritt, played by Walter Brooke, and his men construct a sleek robot, then receive orders providing their new craft's destination, Mars. So, five-time Oscar winner George Pal produced this adventure rooted in the 50s understanding of space exploration and heightened by the awareness that no matter how advanced science becomes, human weaknesses remain. This has a new commentary featuring another one of my favorites, Kim Newman, also joined on that one by Barry Forshore, and then another new commentary with film historians Lee Pfeiffer and Paul Scrabo, and then another new commentary with George Pal, author and historian Justin Humphreys. But then this also has a new documentary on the director Byron Haskin. This one seems to be the most loaded so far, and it's certainly intriguing. I mean, it's got that feel that is the War of the Worlds for me at least, and there looks to be a lot on this. Let's see. Future Boy says, "Can Second Sight stop kicking ass? Because it's kicking my wallet's ass." Well, if you watched the short video on Tuesday, you could tell it's kicking my ass as well. Second Sight is far and away the top tier of labels for me this year. Next from Imprint in March is Marooned, and I love the way this looks. Excuse me, and I love the cast in this. This is gripping yet starkly realistic portrayal of three astronauts on an extended special mission who find themselves unable to re-enter the Earth's atmosphere. As the oxygen supply diminishes, the stranded astronauts must face the inevitability of death. This is a major influence on that movie Gravity, John Sturgis's 1969 space exploration epic. It's ripe for a reappraisal in high def. This has a new commentary and a new featurette, saying words kind of weird, on John Sturgis's later films. But the cast on this one, I mean, we have Gregory Peck, Gene Hackman, that should be enough right there. And just what they are portraying in this sounds super interesting, especially for a film from 1969, which, by the way, 1969 was the year that we landed on the moon. So I'm just very intrigued by what this is. I've not seen this one ever. And then Imprint coming with what I think is the best art that they're putting out for all of March. Audrey Rose from 1977. A happily married couple find their lives thrown into frightening disruption when a stranger appears at their door, claiming that their adopted 12-year-old daughter contains the reincarnated spirit of his little girl. I that sounds fantastic. Underrated 1970 psychological horror from Robert Wise and starring Anthony Hopkins and Marsha Mason. Anthony Hopkins immediately got me intrigued, and I'm definitely getting this one. But then on top of that, new commentary by Sam Deegan and a new video interview with Kim Newman. You can't really turn that down. But then on top of this, I'm liking this new visual essay on the cinema of reincarnation by film historian Lee Gambin. Lee Gambin is another one that does some great work on this, and it looks fantastic. Oh, John, I love it. Moving on, I believe this is, let me make sure before I say that. Yes, this is the last imprint, number 7 for March, which, by the way, that is so many titles for a boutique label to put out. Uh, we when Flip and I were getting ready for our video on Tuesday, we were talking about what labels that I was choosing, and he showed his cards a little early. I saw which 3 he was picking, and he didn't know my number 1, and I said, "I have 32 titles set aside for my number 1 pick," and he was like, "What boutique put out 32 titles this year?" But if you look at this, Imprint put out 7 titles for the month of March, and they are legitimately keeping up that pace almost every single month, which by my, back of the napkin math, that means they're going to be putting out at least like 60 to 85 titles in a year. That is a crazy amount of titles, not to mention their amazing box sets like collaborations. Imprint is crazy. So Johnny Got His Gun. Most of you saw this when you watched the music video for Metallica's One. This is from 1977, and war has plunged Army soldier Joe Bonham into an unending nightmare. Hit by an artillery shell in World War I, Joe has suffered injuries that have all but erased his humanity. He's lost his sight, speech, hearing, and sense of smell, but he still has the ability to think and remember, which in the end may be more of a curse than a blessing. Trapped in his body, Joe realizes there's only one way out of his misery: death. Can he get a sympathetic nurse to help him? This is Hollywood screenwriter Dalton Trumbo directed just one film in his career, and it was this one. This has a new audio commentary by cinematic author and critic Matthew Asprey Gear, Dalton Trumbo Rebel in Hollywood documentary, interview with Tim Bottoms, and behind the scenes footage with commentary by Tim Bottoms and the DP Jules Brenner, the 1940 radio adaptation starring James Cagney, with the audio only, of course, and then all of the throw in extras that we get. This is pretty damn cool. This is a nice release. I was kind of expecting us to get the actual music video for One by Metallica, but they couldn't swing it, and that kind of makes sense. Music rights are hard to get sometimes. Yeah, March is jam packed with releases, that's for sure. Lissa says, by the way, hey, Lissa, Audrey Rose is a very well done movie in how it deals with reincarnation and emotionally intense. And that makes me want to see that featurette that they're doing on reincarnation on that disc. When it's on that movie, they tend to do really well with it. Like Kim Newman did a feature on the Let's Scare Jessica to Death disc, and just the amount of scholarly knowledge that he has at the ready is bonkers. I love some of these historians. It is crazy what they can talk about. All right, I got this picture from the one that we've been talking about all night, from Flip, from the inside of his Shawscope last week before I got mine in, which, hint for tonight, that is one of my pickups. And he sent me this to say, the Venom Mob in varying configurations would appear in several more films directed by Chang Che over the next few years. Look out for the following in Shawscope Volume 2, coming soon from Arrow Video. We get Invincible Shaolin, From 1978, Magnificent Ruffians from 1979, Kid with the Golden Arm from 1979, and then 10 Fingers of Kwang Tung from 1980. I mean, they are just pumping these titles out. And yes, Young Auntie is also confirmed. And isn't there one other confirmed as well, Flip? I know we have speculation on a couple, but I thought there was at least one more confirmed. But these are in writing, printed, confirmed by Aero. Can't really turn that down, obviously. Mitchell says you think there would be more of a lull, but no, pre-ordered more of everything. Okay, and a Choryun title, got it. Why is Come Drink With Me not in volume 2? What I think the reason for this is they are trying to highlight a couple that have more of a, let's say, a cultural impact with them. And so we are getting this, and then we are also likely going to be getting at least one more, and there could be some others. We don't know the entire package that they have licensed. Flip says possibly Magic Blade, but they are just getting so many out and here. It's crazy. Not to mention, 88 Films is still releasing Shaw Brothers titles as well, and Eureka pumping out the Hong Kong. There is no lull with this Asian cinema. Yeah, Flip says they seem to be going in chronological order, and even in this printout here, those are all listed in order. Flip says "Come Drink with Me" is 1966. That's out of order. Could be why. But there is a lot of bonus material on that disc as well for "Come Drink with Me." So tons of stuff here. Glad we get to see it. Moving on to the actual Aero announcements. So we are getting from 1986. Gotta love my typo here. 19986. March 22nd. We are getting "To Sleep So As to Dream." This one, the art on this kind of undersold me for what it actually is here. Two private detectives hunt for an actress trapped within the reel of a silent ninja film in the dreamlike debut of Kaizo Hayashi, a magical double-handed cinephilic homage to the movie worlds of the 1910s and 1950s. That sounds a heck of a lot more interesting than this makes me think. This is among the most impressive and critically regarded Japanese films of the 1980s. To Sleep So As to Dream finally makes its home video debut outside of Japan in a brand new restoration supervised by the director himself. Drifting between illusion and allusion, it is chock full of references to Japan's rich cinematic heritage and features cameos from a host of veteran talent and Baroque sets created by Takeo Kimura, the Nakatsu art designer, fondly remembered for his flamboyant work with the Seijun Suzuki in 1960s. That is awesome. It does sound a lot better than this made me think it was going to be. Lots of special features here as well. Brand new commentary by Japanese film experts Tom Mess and Jasper Sharp. Audio commentary with director Kaizo Hayashi and lead actor Shiro Sano. Recorded in 2000. How Many Eggs, a brand new interview with the film's lead actor. Talking Silence, a brand new interview on early Japanese film culture and the art of the Benshi silent film commentator. And then Midori Sawato performs The Eternal Mystery, an exclusive Benshi performance to the film within the film. And then a featurette on the restoration, fragments from Japan's lost silent heyday, a selection of scenes from the silent Jidai Geki films from the Kyoto Toy Museum archives. So there's all kinds of stuff on here. This to me sounds like this is right up Flip's alley, and I'm sure Eric is excited about this one as well. Oh, really? John says he's not really into Tom S commentaries. Interesting. I haven't found him to be terrible. He's nowhere near one of my favorites, of course, but he hasn't been awful yet. Continuing on, we got one that we're not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about because it's identical to the previous release. This is Robocop in 4K. We are getting the same limited edition with this art, and then we are getting the steelbook as well, both with the 4K disc, and all of the features are the same. Nothing is brand new. Future Boy, we have no hints on when Shawscope Volume 2 might release, but we are kind of speculating that it's going to be probably around summer. My money would probably be on May or June-ish, which means we'd probably get an announcement pretty soon here. All right. After Robocop, we are getting another re-release. Which I so as let's talk about this first real quick. So American Werewolf in London is getting a 4K release. All the same features as before, same hard box, same everything. It'll be a little more expensive and it'll be a 4K disc with HDR and everything. All that is great. I've seen so many people complain that it is the same art, same box, same everything, just a 4K disc. And for those of you that already have the Blu-ray release, I understand to a point why you're upset, but at the same time, just wait. Just wait and buy the standard 4K disc when it's by itself. Everybody else has spent the money on the limited edition and it is sold out. And then you can just buy the 4K disc and put it right inside your limited edition case for the Blu-ray. And then it's the same. You don't have to spend a ton of money. You can get this on sale. You can import from, Zavi or something if you really want to and get it for like 10 bucks probably if you order with other stuff. It's not great that it's just a re-release. Sure, it'd be cool to get another entire brand new thing commissioned for it, but that is why they're able to do this. They don't have to spend all that extra money on recommissioning everything. But the big draw here is for people that weren't collectors or didn't have a chance to get American Werewolf in London when it first came out on Blu-ray. Now they can get this, and they have all the same stuff that those that have the limited edition already. They have all the same stuff, and then they have the 4K disc. You can be happy, they can be happy, we can all be happy. Re-releases suck, but at the same time, no one's forcing you to buy it. But here's a new one we just mentioned here a moment ago. This is Come Drink With Me, and this is the Aero Store exclusive original slip here. And the new art is right here. And to me, I'm honestly really digging this new art here. So, like Flip said, Come Drink With Me is from 1966. Years before Shaw Brothers Kung Fu films made them the biggest film studio in Hong Kong, local audiences flocked to their wuxia films. Mythic tales of sword fighting and often gravity defying heroes fighting for honor. In his final film for the studio, Come Drink With Me director King Hu broke fresh new ground in martial arts storytelling and catapulted fresh faced lead actress Cheng Pei Pei to stardom in the process. Now, this had previously been released by 88 Films, and this is the main difference here. They have all kinds of special features here. We have high def Blu-ray presentation, uncompressed Mandarin and English audio, optional subs, of course, brand new commentary by film critic and historian Tony Raines, interview with star Cheng Pei Pei, interview with star Yu Hua, I don't know how to say that, I'm sorry, interview with star Cheng Huing Lee, talk story with Cheng Pei Pei, a 2016 Q&A at the University of Hawaii, and then a big part here that really got me excited, Cinema Hong Kong, Sword Fighting, a documentary on the history of the wuxia genre and Shaw Brothers' contributions to it, produced by Celestial Pictures in 2003, and featuring interviews with Cheng Pei Pei, Gordon Liu, Lau Kar Lang, John Woo, Sammo Hung, and a whole bunch of others. I mean, that is great. It is archival, but it is so awesome to put on there. All right. Future Boy says, I will not double dip. And then at the end says, okay, fine, I will. I felt that, but also, I'm just going to get that standard disc eventually. Flip says, wuxia films existed in the silent era, but Come Drink With Me became the go to for all the tropes. That is exactly what I thought. Mitchell says, glad I did not get this yet. Just recently bought the Synapse Phenomena on Blu ray. So, yeah, I get that. John says, Come Drink With Me is a Stone Cold classic, a key reason they can release it separately. Exactly what I was getting at earlier. It is more of a cultural impact. Only King Hu movie he did at Shaw. He went on to make the masterpieces Dragon's Inn and Touch of Zen. Thanks for the knowledge there, Flip. Mitchell's excited for that one. And then Ken says, Come Drink With Me is awesome. We need the Lady Hermit with Pepe next. That is the Lady Hermit a Shaw title? I can't remember if it is or not. But then Arrow also announced from 1994 we are getting Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, which is not a great movie. This is Kenneth Branagh leads an all-star cast including Robert De Niro, Helena Bonham Carter, Tom Hulce, Ian Holm, John Cleese, and Aidan Quinn in his definitive cinematic version of Mary Shelley's classic tale of Gothic terror. At the turn of the 19th century, visionary scientist Victor Frankenstein, played by Kenneth Branagh himself, embarks on an excuse me, obsessive quest to conquer the mysteries of human mortality. But his hubristic bid to create life out of death goes hideously wrong and succeeds only in begetting a deformed monster played by Robert De Niro. This has a new restoration from the original camera negative by Sony, which is one of the main things that got me excited for this. Let's see. Flip says, yes, Lady Hermit is shot and Funimation released it on DVD. Great movie. Nice. This has, like I said, Sony did the restoration. Sony does great work. By the way, we are getting this limited box, but then we are also getting this steelbook here. I believe this is a Zavi exclusive steelbook, of course. Because of course it is. Thanks, Aero. New commentary by film historians Michael Brook and Johnny Maines. New interview with the composer. New interview with the costume designer. Brand new interview with makeup designer. And then a new documentary featurette on the origins and evolution of the Frankenstein story, featuring Gothic specialists David Peary, Jonathan Rigby, and Stephen Vogt. Dissecting Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, a brand new featurette with David Peary, Jonathan Rigby, and Stephen Vogt on the differences between the novel and the screen adaptation. And then Frankenstein, a liberal adaptation from Miss Shelley's famous story for Edison production in 1910. The first screen adaptation of Shelley's story in a 2K restoration by the Library of Congress with music by Donald Sosin. That is one of the most exciting parts of this. I don't think it's great, but it's interesting at least. Did I talk about the Ghostbusters set yet? Curious if the original will have new Dolby Vision. I have not talked about that yet. I did not see a press release on that yet, actually. John does not hate this. De Niro's makeup is reminiscent of Curse of Frankenstein. Yeah, I don't have a problem with the makeup. It's decent. What's going on, Marvin? Glad to see you. Future Boy says, is it just me or the Werewolf in London Steelbook is way better looking than the limited edition? Let me pull it back up. Oh, I don't have the Werewolf in London here one. Is the Werewolf in London the one you're talking about? The limited set I honestly really like. It is very nice, honestly, in the hand. Moving on from Aero, though, Criterion wanted to let everybody know that you can get yourself a year of the Criterion channel between now and January 1st and only pay $90 for your first year, a savings of more than $40 over the regular monthly rate. There is a link here and a code that you have to use, I think. Yeah, use the code WELCOME to redeem the special offer. Start your 14-day free trial. I mostly just wanted to share this with people because not everybody has that yet. Yes, it came out early this year. You're right. I was thinking that it was getting re-released too. There's somebody that agrees with me. Cinematic Circus says Mary Shelley's Frankenstein is awful. Most associated with the film are nowhere to be found on the features. Interesting considering this is Brano's joint through and through. Yes. Yeah, that is one of the main things that you can see. Not to mention, there's a lot of faces in that, and I'm sure that Arrow wouldn't be able to get most of those. But yeah, a lot of even the crew isn't there. Kino Lorber is continuing their not really animal attacks, but like 1950 style creature features of insects, stuff like that. We have Terror Out of the Sky. This is coming soon with a brand new 2K master. The main thing from this one, this is directed by Lee Katzin, who also did Le Mans or Le Mans, whatever. I don't remember how to pronounce that. This also has Dan Haggerty. Not much else on this one. I don't hardly know anything about this title, but we are getting it thanks to Kino, and it'll probably be on sale for about $6 next year. And then the contender for title of the year, obviously that is nonsensical for me. Francis the Talking Mule 7 film collection. These are all brand new 2K masters. We're getting Francis. Francis goes to the races. Francis goes to West Point. Francis covers the big town. Francis joins the WACS. Francis in the Navy. Francis in the haunted house. I am not really interested in this much. I know a few people that like some of these movies. The big thing about this is what inspired Mr. Ed, I believe. I remember growing up watching Mr. Ed all the time. But, yeah, this is not really my bag. Just not what I'm into. We do have, Mickey Rooney's in one of these. That's about what I got. One of the big thing that shocked me is that the first 6 are directed by the same person. I'm stoked that he held on that long. I've never seen any of them either, Mitchell. I had heard of them, but, yeah, not my thing. But it's getting a slipcover. Of course, had to do that at least once a week. Here is one I am super into. Coming on February 22nd from Kino, we are getting Man on the Moon with Jim Carrey. Brand new 2K master, new audio commentary by screenwriters Scott Alexander and Larry Kirazuski. And this might be a story Scott Alexander and Larry Kirazuski in conversation with Milos Forman, an excerpt from a recently recovered 1999 micro cassette recording of the director and screenwriters of Man on the Moon discussing the film and the craft. Spotlight on location for the making of the Man on the Moon, deleted scenes, the REM music videos, and then the throw-ins. This is a great movie. I've always loved this. I'm glad we're getting it on Blu-ray finally. This is one that should have got some attention a while ago. I do wish that they were able to get um, the Jim Carrey doc on this, but it does not surprise me that they couldn't. For those that don't know, this has Danny DeVito, Courtney Love, and Paul Giamatti in it as well. And Jim Carrey just really does an uncanny Andy Kaufman. I tried to say uncanny. I did it again. Uncanny Andy. Wow, that is hard to say. Okay. Next up, we didn't really get an announcement for this. So instead of just putting this on Facebook and Twitter like I normally would have, I figured I'd put it here to share on the show this week. We got sort of a leak, but through Amazon, which is rare for Severin, that they are putting out Stone on Blu-ray, and it's already available to pre-order. And this seems to be coming out in February, I believe. It's either February or March, but we will get some more information on that eventually. Severin had originally put out Stone on DVD. This is an exploitation biker motorcycle movie. Interesting one, and it's an upgrade for something they put out previously. They've done that recently. They did that for Gwendolyn was the big one that they did semi recently. I guess it's been a couple years already. This one was alluded to earlier in the chat, and wanted to show that Future Boys comment here. Drive is getting the guest treatment from Second Sight. Wow. Yes, Drive is getting a 4K presented by Second Sight and Nicholas Winding Refn in 2022, and it is going to be fantastic. It's a good movie. I'm not as like gung ho over it like everybody, but this is one that I'm certainly interested in, and yeah, I think it's going to look great. John says new Severn podcast next week, hopefully to explain that, and I would hope for the Black Emmanuel set soon as well. Yeah, Flip loves this movie. Second Sight, killing it, absolutely killing it. They are incredible. All right, here comes the first of. Oh, sorry. Ken says, anyone who likes Drive, see the far superior film that inspired it, Walter Hill's The Driver. Yes, that is a good one. Future Boy says Drive soundtrack is killer. Absolutely. Not to mention, it's going to look great in 4K no matter what. Nerd has never seen Drive. I mean, that's kind of surprising. I got to be honest. It's a good one. There's some really good acting in it. But speaking of great acting, from Third Window Films, and we're also going to talk about in just a moment. This is also coming from Error 4444. Why can't their label be easier to say? We are from both labels. Obviously, Third Window is doing the UK release. Error 4444 is doing the US release. They are putting out Funky Forest and The Warped Forest. This is three unpopular brothers, Masaichi, Masaru, and Masao, are struggling to be popular among the girls. Luckily enough, they finally get a chance to have a co-ed picnic with some pretty young ladies. With 21 free associative episodes ranging from a nonsense sci-fi comedy to a dance battle daydream, Funky Forest: The First Contact would challenge your mind and melt logic as its unique characters find themselves in warped dimensions way past our imagination. 6 years after the directors teamed up to deliver Funky Forest: The First Contact, Shunchiro Miki, flying solo this time, is back to deliver The Warp Forest, a film full of nipple guitars, giant store owners, wiener guns, and the Pinky Pinky monster. So we are getting the Funky Forest features 150 minutes, feature audio commentary by all three directors, making of, which is 70 minutes, deleted scenes from a 2.5 hour movie are still another 22 minutes, and then some other bonus features here. And then Warped Forest is 82 minutes with an introduction by the director, feature audio commentary by the director, interview with the director, a making of that's 12 minutes, and then a whole bunch of other stuff, including wonderful dwellers of Funky Forest. This is limited to 2,000 copies, reversible sleeve with artwork from both movies. Here is that, and then the Funky Forest cover and the Warped Forest cover. I'm loving the art on this. Looks fantastic. But let's also go into, we'll come back to this one in just a second. Coming on March 21st in the US from Air 444, Funky Forest and the Warped Forest. This is the entire box set. This is going to be a region-free box set of 1,000 units only. And these are going up for pre-sale this coming Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern. John says he hated Drive. Wow. So this is going to be some cool things. I wanted to highlight one line here. Obviously, we're getting 2 booklets, including 2 essays by the incredibly talented Michelle Kisner, Robot Cookie, and we are getting 3 stickers with it. But look at this here, extra mystery disc. So to me, this makes this version the one to pick up. Super interesting. For those that don't know, Air 4444, I don't know if I said the right number of fours there. They worked hand in hand with Third Window to both share the cost of the restoration so that they could both put it out. And it is a really good thing that they work together. Glad that they did. Hope enough people buy these so that they can see that it's worthwhile to do this. And yeah, support at least one of the 2 companies, if not both. If you live in the UK, by all means, go for Third Window. If you live here, this is a good one to get. But at the same time, there's only 1,000 copies of this coming out through the US. So you might just want to hop on that UK version. Ken Carlson says, did Paramount announce something the other day? They might go 4Ks for some of the recent Paramount Presents titles like 48 Hours and Pretty in Pink. They didn't quite announce it. There was an article, I think it was a New York Times article, that alluded to they were possibly planning some 4K discs for some of the ones from the Paramount Presents line. And they also mentioned that some of those are out of print. I didn't realize that they even had a print restriction on them, but they are literally already out of print and printing some standard editions of some of those, which is crazy. Future Boy says, to be honest, Drive is overrated, but the soundtrack is what I love. Yeah, it's definitely overrated. It's certainly good to see at least once. John, I have the exact same question, and I have not found a single person that has seen this. When I see 2.5 hours and they allude to episodes, what it makes me think of is that it might be an anthology feature. I know that some other anthologies from Asia have been referred to as episodes. So it very well may be an anthology, or it could be a surreal TV series. But it sounds intriguing as hell. I got to be honest. Mitchell, yes, I am expecting it to be a soundtrack. I don't know what else it possibly could be, but that is my speculation at the moment. All right, so going back momentarily, we got a release date and extras reveal for Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy coming in 4K from Kino on February 22nd, which I just want to reiterate what I did on Tuesday. Kino absolutely over the top with the number of releases they put out. It is crazy to me how many discs they release, and they are not slowing down. Like, there are so many titles coming out in January and February from Kino that they are announcing something literally almost every single day, which is just wild. I don't know if anybody else has really mentioned or noticed this yet, but Kino seems to have an announcement planned every single weekend on both Saturday and Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern, like clockwork. It's been happening for months at this point. So they just announced something every single weekend, every day. I would love to go back and look through my notes and see what they've done throughout the weekdays, but I swear there are some weeks they are announcing a title a day. It is crazy what they're putting out. Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, for those that have not seen it, has an incredible cast, and it's going to be in 4K. This has obviously here Gary Oldman, Colin Firth, Tom Hardy, John Hurt, Toby Jones, Mark Strong, a little guy named Benedict Cumberbatch, and Kieran Hines. I never think I'm saying that name right. I probably didn't this time. We got a new SDR restoration, and that's for the Blu-ray, and then a new Dolby Vision HDR restoration for the 4K. And this is coming in a 2-disc set, and it does have all kinds of the archival special features on here. There does not appear to be anything new, but I don't think they lost anything from any of the previous versions. So this to me is just like Nerd just said, this is a must buy. I can't wait to have this. Future Boy, you have an idea when the hard target 4K corrected discs will be distributed? I have heard that will be February, unfortunately. Just the lead time on getting disc printed is usually about 6 weeks. So February, I would guess probably on the early side of February. But hopefully sooner than later. You never know, after the holiday season, some of those supply chain issues might go away for that. Oh, Nerd says, I believe Diabolic has the pre-order up for the hard target 4K correction. Interesting. I might have to pull that up while I'm looking at the next title here. Pull up Diabolic. Okay. After Tinker Tailor and Warp Force Funky Forest, we got artwork for Human Lanterns from 1982, another Shaw Brothers title coming from 88 Films. We have no other information on this, but the artwork on this looks wild. I am stoked that they're going crazy with the slip looking like this. This looks great. Yes, Kino did announce the apartment for 3.8. They haven't put out their list with the extras and all that, but I think that's probably going to be coming this weekend. I'm waiting for the dates for the 4Ks for Dressed to Kill and To Live and Die in LA. I'm still waiting on Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, man. They announced that like last February at this point. Speaking of 88 Films, they took a page out of the Aero video book and released a sheet of hints for 2022. If I zoom in on this, does it zoom in for you guys? Let me see. A little bit, I guess. So we got coming in April. This is the first ones that we don't know here. And S1 through 4, my first thought is that is probably the Species box set. And then there are some other random ones here to highlight. Let's see. TC 1 through 3 could be a few things. Obviously, a lot of people jumped at Tiger Claws, like Vinegar Syndrome just put out. Whip down here at the bottom here, that is expected to possibly be Whip in the body. And look at that. Ken also brought it up. 88 hinted at Bava's Whip in the body. So we don't know when that's coming, but that will be scheduled at some point, it looks like. And then FG2 here. A lot of people are obviously thinking of Flying Guillotine 2, but there are so many things here that we could really dive into. I'm curious if Flip is still there and listening, if he brought any of these up and decided what any of them could be. Especially because he is more info heavy on the Asian side than I, and 88 Films is going heavy on Asian cinema. So yeah, somebody commented here that TF could be Titan Find Creature that Vinegar Syndrome just put out, and it very well could be. So after that, we got some Warner Archive announcements. This is a pretty big one. Three Musketeers with Gene Kelly and Angela Lansbury and Vincent Price. This is from 1948, coming with a new 4K scan of the original nitrate Technicolor negatives, 126 minutes long. Has some features on here too, not a ton, but some. And yeah, this looks great. And this is probably releasing in February, either February or January. Even Warner Archive has a very quick turnaround on their announcements. They got 3 titles up this time. The next one is Edge of Darkness. This one has Robin Hood himself, Errol Flynn. This is from 1943 in black and white. And again, has some special features. Has vintage Warner Brothers short Gun to Gun, vintage cartoon To Duck or Not to Duck, and then the original trailer. And then the final announcement from them was Gold Diggers of 1933. This is one that a lot of people have been wanting for a long time. This is the film was from 1933, and new 2022 1080p master from the best preservation elements. Obviously, this is black and white. Aspect ratio is 16:9 with the side mats. Special features: we got a featurette on FDR's New Deal Broadway bound, vintage Warner Brothers cartoons. I've Got to Sing a Torch Song, Pettin' in the Park, and We're in the Money. And then vintage Warner Brothers shorts, Rambling Around Radio Row, the 42nd Street Special, and Seasoned Greetings. I'm stoked that they're putting some sort of extras on these. They don't always do that, but I'm glad that they are. And yeah, I'm probably going to get at least the Three Musketeers. Curious about some of these others. I'm gonna wait and see some reviews. Not sure if Gold Diggers is up my alley, but at least it sounds nice. And then right before we went live, we got a couple announcements from Grindhouse releasing that on January 1st, you will be able to pre-order from their site the Death Game 2-disc deluxe edition Blu-ray that they have been teasing for what feels like 2 years or so. They're going to announce full specs and street date at that time only. And as with the Pieces Jigsaw Puzzle, the I Drink Your Blood Horror Hypo, and the Tough Ones Bullet Pen, we are including a special gift for the first 2,000 copies. And that special gift is this keychain that says Death Game on the side of what are they calling this? What is their version of this? Did I get it in here? Yeah, the Death Game Meat Cleaver Edition. It's exclusive to their online store at shop.grindhousereleasing.com. You won't get it from Amazon or anyone else. So if you do want one of the embossed Death Game meat cleavers included with your unit, make sure you order from Grindhouse directly. They say it will sell out quickly. Time will tell on there. There is going to be a lot of extras on here. This is going to be a 2-disc set. And for those that don't know, this is what the Keanu Reeves movie Knock Knock was a remake of. This is the original version that is supposed to be much, much better than the Keanu Reeves film was, which it was not good. So it doesn't have to try a lot to be a lot better on that one. Ken Carlson says, did I pick up Bava's Hatchet for a Honeymoon from '88? Terrific release. I've ordered. I have not received it yet, unfortunately. I got it with another pre-order. It'll be coming. I do that a lot. I've got today, or no, not just today. One today, and then one I think 2 days ago from Diabolic. I got shipping notices from stuff from August, and then I just received some of my pickups are from my oldest order that just shipped to me about a week and a half ago from Diabolic that I placed in April, and I just got it. So I'm going to go over some of those after we do next week's titles. And then the last announcement for this week is not a movie, but one that I thought a lot of people from the channel would be interested in. Grindhouse Releasing will also have for sale Thank You for Letting Me Be Myself, the authorized biography of Rudy Ray Moore. Now, I believe this was a Kickstarter project that had been coming out, and this is one that they are doing only 2,000 copies, and I believe more than half of them have already been sold through that Kickstarter. So they won't have the full 2,000 limited hardback copies. This has 380 full color glossy pages, over 600 photos, extensive discography, videography covering hundreds of releases, full details on the makings of all of his films like Dolomite, Human Tornado, Petey Wheatstraw, Devil's Son-in-Law, Disco Godfather, and more. And this is the definitive text on Rudy Ray Moore. This is one that if you are interested in any of those films, I would honestly recommend this. I've heard really good things about this project, and it's one, depending on the price, I've not decided yet, but I might be into it. Rudy Ray Moore is great. there are some crazy stories, and I'm very curious to see what else they have in here. And that is it for new announcements. John says, speaking of Keanu Reeves, all these titles are more fun to talk about than Matrix 4. I have not seen it. I had a chance to see it yesterday, and I turned it down to wrap some presents for my family because I would not have time to do that if I didn't. Um, I'm still interested in seeing it. I know that a lot of people have hated it so far, though. So, what was your take on the Vinegar announcement saying almost 20 new titles, including partner labels? How many non-partner label titles do you think are coming? Uh, for the record, they did say almost 20, not 25. I think we have confirmation of their entire January slate, which means that it's only going to be 3 or 4 Vinegar Syndrome titles. They did say that a VSP is coming, so that is maybe 5, but that leaves probably 12 or so partner labels, 12 or 13, which is a lot. It is way too many in 1 month. I know that we're getting a Fun City title. I do believe that we are getting a Altered Innocence title and probably an AGFA title. There is so much coming. It is crazy. And this is the first time that Vinegar Syndrome is doing a midnight on the first of the year, a big like lead up to it. So I'm curious how that's going to go. And then they also alluded to that their site will have some old out of print VSAs available, which is super interesting. And if they had to cancel anybody's orders because they over ordered based on what they were allowed to order, if you're interested in any of those and you missed out on something, you might want to be there like right at midnight on the first. It's a very interesting setup this time. But I will agree with Future Boy here. 20 titles seems like overkill. It is honestly way too much. It is getting crazy. Lissa says, I found the Blu-ray for Dolomite at the Dollar Tree. I was shocked. Didn't know the transfer is though. If that is the same disc as what was being carried at Walmart, it is the Vinegar Syndrome transfer. They're actually credited on the back, which is interesting. Eric says, what time of month does Vinegar Syndrome typically ship for subscribers? Usually it starts around, depending on the month and how far ahead they are, anywhere between like the 18th and the 24th ish. They will start doing that. Oh, Lord. Antoine says, the OCN Instagram says, oh my God, 11 new titles and 3 new labels. How many labels do they need to be partners? That is crazy. Marvin says, I'm going to start picking up Bava titles in January. I know Kino and Aero have put out the same titles. Yes, and a lot of them, they're interesting the way they have it set up because Kino has done the AIP version and the original version both on their labels, and you have to get both if you want both of them, which I believe some of the imports have both on the disc. So super interesting. Let's see. Did I hear anything about Severin botching the House on the Edge of the Park transfer? No. All I've heard is great things. I would love to hear more about that. I've still not gotten a shipping notice, so couldn't tell you based on my information. Oh man, that's sad if they did. That's a pretty big title to botch. Ugh. And then Diabolic, we were looking up Hard Target. Let me see what they have listed here. Hard Target 4K pre-order is currently listed as coming soon with a release date. It says February of 22. So exactly what I was looking at. John says House on the Edge of the Park looked freaking amazing. Watched last weekend. So, huh. Did you see it looking bad, Ken, or was that secondhand information from somebody else? I'm curious what you heard. You know, a lot of people. Something to talk about for a second, by the way. A lot of people have been complaining about 4Ks not working in their player, and then you ask, and they have outdated firmware, or they're playing on like an Xbox One S that hasn't been updated in months, and 4Ks just aren't working. That's how the 4K format has been going. So if you are trying to play a 4K, make sure everything's up to date, make sure it's clean, and by all means, if you can afford a standalone 4K player, they will perform So much better than a game console. Always, always try to go for that standalone player. All right, let me pull up what we are looking at for releasing next week so we can discuss that real quick, which thankfully it's not much. They got a whole lot coming out next week. All right. As you can see, we got Shawscope Volume 1, which a lot of people have in hand already. French Dispatch, which is already showing up with places like Orbit shipping it already. Jack Frost 2 from MVD Rewind and Jack Frost, both coming out there. Robot Carnival in 4K, all of the partner label titles that are coming out in December. And that is the bulk of everything. There are some other random anime titles, stuff I'm not into here, but that is it. That is not surprising at all. It's the end of December, which is usually very light on releases. Let's see, Future Boy, your opinion. What are your surprises or excited for the next year announcement so far? Oh man, um, a lot actually. The fact that we're getting another Shawscope this year is incredible to me. Uh, Thriller coming in 4K from Vinegar Syndrome is very exciting. Uh, more Forgotten Jolly sets from Vinegar Syndrome is very exciting for me. And honestly, just people embracing 4K more. Not to bring up Vinegar Syndrome so much tonight, but the fact that we are getting like 13 4K discs at least this year from them is wild. I am stoked on that. Uh, Severin, if the Black Emmanuel set comes this year, which I have no reason to believe it won't come this year, that is something I'm super looking forward to. Um, Drive in 4K from Second Sight. Second Sight, as I said on in the video on Tuesday, and another one of my upcoming videos, they're like my second favorite label of 2021, and releases like this are just incredible. For those that didn't watch, I mean, this is the size of the book in the guest, and to think that Drive is going to get a release like this is just so impressive to me. That we are getting titles that are, great titles, getting this sort of love in 4K. If it's like the guest, it'll have the soundtrack, which would be incredible. Um, yeah, there are so many great things coming. I cannot wait for this year. And that is a good time to transfer over. I didn't want to bring those up, Ken, yet because Martin has been delayed again because they're looking for the elements for that one. Hitcher, we still don't know for sure if it's coming this year or not, but I hope that for sure it is. And then yeah, Dead Heat in 4K. No one asked for it, but it made many happy. I'm stoked to see it in 4K. I'm still, Terminal Island looked way better than it really needed to, and it looks fantastic. So I'm glad we're getting it. Some pickups real quick. So just like I showed earlier, I did get my Shawscope just a couple days ago. This is this is wild to me that we have this. I can't wait to start picking this apart and seeing what is in here. I have so much to dive into for that. Sardis, there you are. What's going on? Just starting into some pickups. Then some of the ones from my super old order from April that I talked about with Diabolic, I got in. Let me see if I can stop some of this glare here. The wow, that doesn't help at all. The Monster Collection, there it is. And just to read what this is, join the legendary minds of creature design for a double feature from the depths of the drive-in. The Monster Collection features two richly comprehensive documentaries. Phil Tippett, Mad Dreams and Monsters, a portrait of the genius behind many of the most iconic movie creatures of the modern era, and the Frankenstein complex, a delightful group profile of the special effects wizards who turn rubber, latex, and resin into cinema's most memorable and terrifying creations. Genre luminaries like Guillermo del Toro, Rick Baker, and Paul Verhoeven, sorry, illuminate the evolution of movie magic from early stop motion animation to the cutting edge of CGI and offer insights into a multitude of classic films like Star Wars, Gremlins, Jurassic Park, and Starship Troopers. This has over 12 hours of unprecedented bonus material, including new audio commentaries, a treasure trove of behind the scenes footage, and in depth interviews, creature galleries, and rare short films by Phil Tippett. This looks just ridiculously great. I'm so stoked that this is out, and this is from Doppelganger releasing, by the way. There's that logo in there. Sardis is working on his fifth film of the day. My goodness, you lucky man. Future Boy, do we know how many Shoscopes will be released? Could be limitless until they ran out of martial arts films, I guess. We do know actually how many films were in the package, and from what we are putting together, it appears there will be two Shoscope sets and a couple of standalone Shaw Brothers titles from Aero, and that's it at the moment, at least. They could always license more, but it'll be two Shoscopes, and then Come Drink with Me, and we're probably getting 8 Diagram Pole Fighter. Did I say that right? I think so. But yes, we got some others coming, and yes, that's probably about it on the Shaw Brothers from Arrow for the foreseeable future. If these do really well, I would not be surprised if they go back and get more though. So who knows? John says, "I'm glad, weirdly enough, that the All the Haunts BR set didn't ship yet due to Christmas. Now next week, please." Yeah, I didn't get mine either. I did get. I wasn't going to show this until my video on labels, but I did finally get the Nasty Habits set, and I'm thinking of starting one of these tonight. Um, I was weirdly really stoked that they put this out. This is something that this is right up my alley. I love those crazy old nunsploitation films. Ken says, "I'm hoping Warner Brothers announces their 4K catalog for next year, like they did last year." I would agree with that. Sardis, how is that Gary Graver? It looks good. I've not started that one yet. Dave says, "Still waiting for Vinegar Syndrome Black Friday. Really? Considering the Canadian Vinegar Syndrome ballot has just crossed town, surprised it's taking this long." Me too. I wonder if they are not in stock of something that you ordered. I got another one with that monster collection to oddly go with another film that has most of what's on this new release. So I got in After Effects, Memories of Pittsburgh Filmmakers, and taking the slipcover off, this is what it is. This is during the late 1970s in Pittsburgh, an ambitious and intrepid trio of filmmakers pooled their resources together and came up with just enough money to make their first feature length narrative film, originally called The Manipulator and later retitled Effects. The movie was finished but sat unreleased for nearly 25 years. In 2005, Effects was finally unveiled to moviegoers worldwide, and Red Shirt Pictures was brought on to document the movie's long and winding road to release. With After Effects Memories of Pittsburgh Filmmaking, many of the film's cast and crew reunite to discuss not only the making of the movie, but their experiences in the fledgling independent film industry in Pittsburgh in the 70s. Now, I love documentaries about things like these, like eras of filmmaking and what you can find there. And now, what's interesting is I have Effects. This is not meant as like a flex or anything like that, but I have it here, signed by Tom Savini himself. I'm the weird one that when I went and met Tom Savini in what year was that? 2019. I brought Effects for him to sign rather than something else. But I've always loved Effects since the very first time I saw it, and this is one that this AGFA release of Effects, but this was number 2 of their Blu-rays. This has After Effects on it. Now, the interesting thing is this release has exclusive feature length edition with over 15 minutes of never before seen interview footage. So this just has more bonus material. Sardis, this After Effects, I got it on Diabolic, and this is put out by a group called Red Shirt Pictures. Red Shirt Pictures. So yeah, I just saw this as a worthy companion piece to go even deeper into a movie that I love. One that I literally just got today. The Vampire Lovers. As many people know, this has a replacement program coming because there's some nudity missing. It happens, and we'll get one. No big deal. The other Scream Factory titles that I got in No Way to Treat a Wow, I can't see there. No Way to Treat a Lady and Lady in a Cage. Big one here, Olivia de Havilland and Lady in a Cage. Really excited to see this one. Yeah, not much else to say. Friend of the channel, Michael Howard. I won this one in a raffle from him. I finally have the Shaft triple feature with Shaft, Shaft's Big Score, and Shaft in Africa. I've been wanting this for a while. And then, speaking, Sardis, speaking of Gold Ninja Video, I just got in my second order from their Indiegogo, and it is a rainbow of awesomeness. So just going to show these real quick because These are older titles. A lot of people have seen these. Ninja Vortex. This is the you can see the contributor exclusive. These were sold out of the limited edition titles. The Dragon Lives Again. This was their first title, I believe. This was the Bruceploitation experience. Then Death Warrior, Thundering Mantis. This one is Bluebeard, Blood of the Dragon. This one is Wolf Devil, director of the films of Pearl Chang. So much in there. And then Bela Lugosi meets a Brooklyn gorilla. And for those that don't know, Gold Ninja Video, they do all kinds of public domain titles, but then do a lot of special features for them. They're ran by Justin DeClue. There's an interview with him on the channel from earlier this year. He is so passionate about his work. Just go watch that interview, and you can really feel it. And John, I really hate you. That's all I'm going to say about that. I don't have any from him. Marvin says, I need that Shaft Blue. I wanted it for so long, and I got it for like $4. I'm so stoked on that. Sardis says, I thrive on films about films. Me too. I love that. All right. I think the next thing to go over is this month's slate, as I show everybody my address, from Vinegar Syndrome. Okay. Whoop. So again, have not opened that yet. Here it is, all packaged. Sardis, the Gold Ninja Video, all of those are not still available. No. Most of those were already sold out before their Indiegogo, and then their new Indiegogo was the last chance to get them because they were not going to be making any more, as far as I'm aware. Sadly. Michael, I just showed this Shaft Blue that I got from you. Glad you're here. We talked about all the announcements, talked about some pickups, talked about what's coming out next week. About to do some Vinegar Syndrome unwrapping. Future Boy says some underrated favorite labels, Warner Archive and Paramount Presents. Funny enough, my next boutique labels I collect, and so should you video, are going to be featuring both of those, and the titles are sitting right in front of me from filming. Okay, breaking in here. Whew, they put a bunch of these in one bubble. But yeah, I love Warner Archive and Paramount Presents. I do like a lot of what they do, but I mean, you have new 4K scans for some of these titles. You think that they would have done it right and put them out on 4K the first time. If they're going to re-release them in 4K, I'm going to say I'm not going to buy them, but I might. Yeah. Sardis watched a Dim Valley at 4 a.m. this morning. God dang. I want some of that free time. All right. So this one is from, forgive me for not having all these logos. Okay. Yeah, I don't have all these logos memorized yet. With all of these, I think we were up to 17 partner labels at the moment. And if we're getting 3 more, it'll be nice, even 20. Being Natural. This is from Canny. This is their first title. And I think Canny is how you say it. I love the quote on the back here. Return to nature. Never eat ramen noodles. That one looked like a really good like slice of life movie, which I tend to really enjoy. Dave, yeah, they are working on it. I keep getting contributor emails on that one. Then from Terror Vision, their second Blu-ray. This is Norway. This is a vampire title. You can see the shape of the fangs there in the waves. There is the inside cover. Very interesting cover on that one. Next one is from Saturn's Core. This is Savage Harvest. This is one that a lot of people had previously on DVD. And this is coming with a whole bunch of special features. And one of the reasons I'm stoked on this one is it is from a St. Louis, Missouri creator, and I'm here in Kansas City. So stoked to see what we were putting out there. Next up is one of the most impressive titles from this month of partner labels. Rebels of the Neon God. This is one that a bunch of people are incredibly surprised we finally got on Blu-ray. And this is from 1992. It's a Taiwanese film. Very curious to see that one. Let's see. Marvin says it sucks. There was no Warner Archive 4 for 44 sale this year. Well, that is over supposedly because now Warner Archive is only distributing through Amazon. So Warner themselves will not be doing any more sales because they're not in control of them anymore. Next one. This is from Altered Innocence, I believe. Yeah, Arabato. This is supposed to be incredible. This is one I'm really looking forward to watching. Brand new 4K restoration. Horror movie director Jose is adrift in a sea of doubt and drugs. As his belated second feature nears completion, his reclusive bubble is popped by two events: a sudden reappearance from an ex-girlfriend and a package from past acquaintance Pedro, a reel of Super 8 film, an audio tape, and a door key. From there, the boundaries of time, space, and sexuality are erased as Jose is once more sucked into Pedro's vampiric orbit. Together, they attempt the ultimate hallucinogenic catharsis through a Mobius strip of filming and being filmed. That one just sounds super enticing. And yeah, Marvin, that's exactly how I felt. Eric says, really want more Simon Lang on Blu-ray. I agree. The more, the merrier. Yes, please. Now, this one, I think this is the one that really got me excited. This is a video game adaptation. This is called Detention. And this is supposed to be just fantastic. Really unique slip on this one. It is so just quiet and subtle on the front, and then the back here has just a little bit of info. And then here is the inner art on that one. And this one has adapting Detention, Return to Greenwood High, making of Detention, visual effects of Detention, The Day of Light, theatrical trailer, and a booklet featuring 2 critical essays. Yes, A Dim Valley is an Altered Innocence title. What'd you think of that one, Sardis? Okay, this is one I really only got because I've loved the label so far. I read this and I thought to myself that it sounded very pretentious, but this is moments like this never last. This is from Utopia, and this is a wild slipcover that they went with that on the front, but then the back has a picture of the artist. This is a story all about an artist who died very young. Here is the inner art on that one. And let's see, he died of a heroin overdose at the age of 27. And they have done really great with some of these titles. And yeah, I adore Utopia, and I hope more people are checking them out. Eric says, I got some Warner Archive titles during the Target buy two get one sale. Limited selection, not quite as good as 11, but close. Yes, if memory serves, that gets them down to around 12.50 or 13 ish if they are priced normally. But the big thing to keep an eye on, and I've been trying to post as many as I could on Facebook and Twitter, but a lot of the Warner archives have been going on sale recently, and some were as low as literally like $8.50, which is crazy low for a Warner archive title. I have not finished it yet. I started that one and have not finished it. It is on my list for soon. It was very unusual. I'll say I agreed with that. Last partner label title here is Assholes, and the blood here, as you can see, is got some spot gloss, and then here is the back cover, and it also has some spot gloss there. This one is from Circle Collective, and here is the inner artwork here, and this is a 2017 film that sounds hilarious. I have heard nothing but incredible things about it. So I can't wait to show my wife this one, to be honest. John Peters says it is great surreal comedy. That's awesome. All right, what else is in here? Oh, I forgot. I don't even think I meant to order this. I tend to get a lot of the enamel pins, but usually not from partner labels. Oops. Oh well, it's a nice design at least. Here is the Yellow Veil Pictures enamel pin. And then because I literally just said I've loved everything the label has put out, I had to support, especially when I saw the design on this. I got the shirt for Utopia, but the cool thing is the back of that. I love that design. Really well done. Fits their brand pretty well. Oh, there is one more release in here. I almost missed it. All right. One in a bubble by itself. And that is from Gunpowder and Sky, who is emerging as an incredible partner label. This is Her Smell. Now, this is one of the crazy side-loading hard box slipcases, and it's important to note that this stars Elizabeth Moss. This is a pretty big star-studded title to put out from one of these partner labels. I'm stoked on it. This had a this had a previous Blu-ray release, so I'm surprised they didn't go to 4K. But here's the slip on the inside. It's got the old style magazine cover on here. But the cool thing is there's an ad on the back that looks to be from 1996. Gotta love that. So many different styles of art to choose from on this one. Her Smell is genuinely a pretty good movie. If you've never seen it, I recommend it for a lot of people that like that sort of thing. It could have been better. It's a little, hopefully this makes sense. It's a little Hollywood for me. I think it could have been a little bit better. But overall, for who's in it and how it was made and all that, I think it's surprisingly decent. All right. That is pickups. Let's see what everybody else is saying. Dungeon says, I'd like to check out Assholes 2. Tried watching Donnie's Bar Mitzvah tonight and think the Blu-ray's messed up. Mine was not. Mine worked just fine. Interesting. Sardis watched, wow, the Telephone Book, and I Start Counting today for the first time. Not enough people watch the Telephone Book. What'd you think of the Telephone Book? I thought that movie was wild. That is such an interesting movie. I still can't fathom that somebody allowed them to make that movie. All right. We went over pickups. We went over announcements. We went over next week's releases. All I have left, Future Boy loves Donnie's Bar Mitzvah as well. Nice. All I have left is the thing I was going to sort of beta test tonight, and I think it's a good time to start that. So I have 5 boutique releases. I don't know why this table feels like it's shaking so much tonight. What am I going to start with in Nasty Habits? Oh, I was thinking of Story of a Cloistered Nun or Christiana Devil Nun. I'm not sure yet. Sarda says the ending of the Telephone Book is wild. Yeah, that movie is fantastic. I really hope more people pick it up. I think it got a little more popular once they put out that slip, which is odd how that works. Oh, that's right. You've seen all 4. You sent me the list of the order to watch them in, I think. Dungeon says, my Donnie goes to the title screen, but Donnie's party is all in darkness and can't access play features or chapters. That is very odd. Yeah, I would contact them for sure because mine works just fine. Marvin, get on telephone. I mean, I Start Counting is a classic, but if you want a weird one, Telephone Book is a fun one to go with. Yeah, I Start Counting. Everything from Fun City Editions has been incredible so far. So speaking of labels like Fun City, I have 5 different labels here with 5 different releases. This is 5 titles that I don't think, I do think I mentioned one on the channel here before, but I think that not enough people have watched genuinely any of the movies. So I just want to throw out reasons to watch these. So the first one I'm going to mention is an import from 101 Films, and I put this one as first because they are actually having a winter sale right now, and this one is part of the sale. So if you've never seen it, the first one I have listed is The Headhunter. Now, this is a title that is on, or at least it was on Shudder, and I think it still is. This is basically a one-man movie that was filmed If I remember the budget right, it was filmed for like $15,000, and it's pretty short. It is 72 minutes long, but it does not feel like it's a $15,000 movie. It feels like a multiple million-dollar movie. This movie is on the outskirts of a kingdom in the shadows of a looming castle. A quiet but fierce medieval warrior protects the realm from monsters. The gruesome collection of trophy heads on the wall of his cabin is missing only one, the monster that killed his daughter. He travels wild expanses on horseback, driven by a thirst for revenge. When his chance for vengeance arrives, it's in a way far more horrifying than he ever imagined. That was a weird way to say imagined. Far more than he ever imagined. So Headhunter is really well acted, but this release, I think, is still the only way to get this on physical media. Can't remember if it is on Blu-ray in the States or not, but I think this is the only way. It does have special features. This has how we made Headhunter, commentary with the director and producers, why we made Headhunter, commentary with the writer and with two different writers, and then a making of featurette. This is a surprisingly good movie that you can get for very, very cheap. And it's one-on-one films, and I don't talk about them enough, so I wanted to make sure that I highlight it. They are from the UK. You can get it on sale right now. It's a pretty plain edition. It's just this, no slip, no hard box, nothing like that. But this is a movie that literally hardly anyone ever talks about, and this one is great. Headhunter is so much fun, and it's just impressive. And it's kind of one of those films, you know, like Clerks was for me. This is one of those movies where you watch it and you see something on screen and you think, you know, I could probably do something like that. This one doesn't look like I could do it, but then you hear how it was made, and it makes me want to do it. This movie is great, and I really hope more people take a second look at it because it is genuinely really well done. Dungeon said, "Is Vinegar Syndrome good with problem discs? This is the first I've ever encountered. They are not only good, they are great. They will probably send you one, no questions asked. Yeah, just send them an email. They will take care of it for you, even if it's been a while ago. They will help you out." Oh, Marvin, Shiva Baby, literally one of my favorites of the year. That's going to be in one of my upcoming videos as a one of my top 20 single film releases of this year. And look at that, we're all talking about partner labels. Even Sardis bought Rancho Deluxe. Gotta love it. Darren, what's going on? Season's greetings to everybody. Got to go with the style here. Dungeon says 101 Films is great indeed. Just got the cooler, and it's amazing how that movie got made for its minimal budget. And of course, Suburbia, which Penelope Spheris had to fight for. Absolutely. Sardis also watched Babyface. The Molly Seagram interview is worth the price. Nice. The next one is from a little known label called Aero Video. This is one I love a lot of Aero for what they're known for. Obviously, they're known for a lot of old horror. They're known for a lot of Asian titles. Recently, they're known for a lot of westerns, but they also put out some random freaking comedies out of nowhere, like Mallrats. But this one, hardly anybody ever talks about, and I feel like this might be out of print. Which, if it is, that really stinks. And I'm sorry for recommending it now, but I hope it's not. And that is A Fish Called Wanda. This movie has an incredible cast. Look at the top here. We got John Cleese, Jamie Lee Curtis, Kevin Kline, and Michael Palin, two of the Monty Python stars there. And this movie is so well cast and so well acted that it is nearly impossible to state. The synopsis here for everybody. Cleese plays Archie Leach, a weak-willed barrister who finds himself embroiled with a quartet of ill-matched jewel thieves. Two American con artists, played by Jamie Lee Curtis and Kevin Kline, Michael Palin's animal-loving hitman, and London gangster Tom Jorgensen. When Jorgensen is arrested, only he and Palin know the whereabouts of the diamonds, prompting plenty of farce and infighting, as well as some embarrassing nudity and the unfortunate demise of some innocent pooches. Now, speaking of that last line, I will say I had not seen this since I was probably 25, and I sat down to watch this with my wife and forgot that there is a surprising amount of animal deaths in this. But it kind of works. It is a genuine top release from Arrow for me. They do such great work with this, and it is so freaking funny. What everybody genuinely looks like in the film is here. John Cleese is, like I said, a barrister, which for those of you that don't know, he's basically a lawyer. And Jamie Lee Curtis, like top of her like hotness scale, basically, she looked great here. Um, just a single disc release, but this is one that for a while you could get this very cheap. Like MVD had this on sale when I think it was when Ronin went on sale, and you could get this for literally like $5 or $6 with the slip. This thing, this is so it is so funny. This is like a heist movie gone wrong at every moment, and for enough people that have not seen this, I really think that this could jump to a lot of people's like top favorites from Arrow list. It is so well acted, and to get the faces that you get in this, the cast is just perfect. Beaufort says, "Have you watched the new western called Old Henry?" You mean this one? Not yet. I've not had it in long enough, and I've had some other things that I've had to watch first, and everybody is telling me it's like their favorite of the year. So I know I need to watch it, and I probably need to watch it like this week before I finalize some of my lists. It is supposed to be amazing, and I can't wait to see it. Sardis got a replacement disc with his order. Didn't even know it needed one. Is that for Walking the Edge? Probably. Eric says one of the earliest Arrows I picked up. Nice. Before you knew anything about Arrow, it is such a great disc. Didn't know Arrow had that one. Great movie. Almost know it by heart. Oh, Dave says Wanda didn't click with him. May have to get another shot. It is so worth it. Love it. Love it. And yeah, this is basically British cinema at its best. Definitely a great Arrow release, but definitely wasn't talked about when it first came out. I agree, and that's why I was browsing some titles, and I wanted to get something from a label that I could talk about that hasn't been talked about a lot. And this one just never enough. And the next one is from a label that I've been poo pooing for the last few months, and for good reason. They've kind of dropped the ball on a lot of things, but this is a title that I think that a lot of people from the previous generation of film fans had seen and loved, but it seems like this upcoming generation of film fans don't have the grasp of this yet. And what really gets me from this film is that it's basically like a psychological horror film, and it is so well done. And that is from my one of my least favorite labels, Criterion. And this is one that is very much still in print. You can still buy this. For some reason, when it goes on sale, I think this one is one of the $25 titles. Let me see. Probably because it's 2 discs and it comes with a nice booklet on the inside. But all that lead up to say, one of my favorite films of all time is The Night of the Hunter. Now, this is with Robert Mitchum and Shelley Winters, and this movie is great and has gotten lots of praise over the years, but has kind of settled down for a while. And on this channel, we've talked about some of my past and coming up, growing up in religion, and seeing abuse, both like psychological abuse and neglect in the religious side of things. That I wanted to highlight this because of something that was just so relatable about it. The fact that the main character, Robert Mitchum, this guy here, he is literally like a Joel Osteen back in the day, going around town to town and being a con man, acting as a preacher, and it is such an impressive film. So it is in black and white, and the main thing here is it is a very brisk 93-minute film, but it looks astounding even in black and white, and it's not 4K or anything. It just looks magnificent. This is one of, in my opinion, Criterion's better restorations. This does have, like I said, 2 discs. It's got a new restored digital film transfer with uncompressed audio commentary by second unit director Terry Sanders, film critic FX Feeney, archivist, whole bunch of other stuff. So it's one that does come with the commentary, which is rare nowadays. Um, this has clips from like the Ed Sullivan Show. It's got a new interview with Charles Lawton biographer, 15-minute archival documentary about the film featuring Robert Mitchum, archival interview with the cinematographer, gallery of sketches. But then the second disc, Charles Lawton directs The Night of the Hunter. This is where it gets wild. This is where this really shines after you fall in love with the film. Charles Lawton directs The Night of the Hunter, a 2.5 hour treasure trove of outtakes and behind the scenes footage New conversation between Git and film critic Leonard Maltin about Charles Laughton directs. And there's a booklet in here, and it's decent. It's one of the better booklets from Criterion. It's got some info in here, and it's got some good writing. Not a lot of pictures, not a lot of space wasted on credits. It's only the first couple pages, and to me, this is literally one of the best Criterion releases of all time. And yes, again, this has gotten a lot of praise over time, but I feel like this has gotten to a soft whisper, and this is one that I don't think can be praised enough. I think that it is uh, absolutely astounding and terrifying in a weird, visceral way. And one of the main reasons is because he's literally going after children in this film. And I again, I don't want to say too much because there's a lot that again, I don't want to call it spoilers necessary because a lot of it happens earlier in the film, but it's a sort of thing that brings up emotions and like pits in your stomach as you're watching this, and it's just such a great film. Uh, okay, got some comments on this one, so let me go back through some of these. Marvin loves A Night of the Hunter, one of the best 60s films. Agreed. Sardis loves early Shelley Winters films. Nice. Eric says, great film, seen a few times, including theatrically. You lucky man. Speaking of religion, I better say Merry Christmas to all and have a great night. Oh, Darren says, Screenbound in UK has just released a beautiful Blu-ray of Virgin Witch 1972, and I think I've already picked that one up. I'll have to take a look. Yes, Marvin says of the 50s, and the year on that one is 55, by the way. Flickering Wave says almost every movie podcast and YouTube channel that I love talks up Night of the Hunter. One of these Criterion sales. I don't mean to just to add to that noise, but genuinely, it is one of those things where my circle that I've spoken to has calmed down on Night of the Hunter quite a bit, and it is genuinely an amazing film. Hopefully, a future 4K, and if they're still charging 25 for it, I bet they're going to want to get their money, and they'll probably charge a good 30-35 for it. Night of the Hunter is top 20 of all time. Hoping a 4K is around the corner. Agreed. Night of the Hunter is brilliant. I need to pick up that blue. A wonderful ever see a 4K. I would not be surprised at all. Ice has a print of that. Very nice. Lawton only directorial film, not counting his help on the Eiffel Tower film, and he does so well with it. So that is immensely surprising. And we are going to go. I did this on purpose. We are going to clash from Night of the Hunter and the classy artistic piece that is. That I'm going to bring up a label that not enough people talk about as a boutique because they're kind of a trash label, and that is Mill Creek. Now, Mill Creek, genuinely, they do not genuinely, generally, they do not do most of the restorations in house. They're only given something, and they put that out. And usually, it doesn't have a lot of features unless they were handed those features. But they put out a line of films on Blu-ray from a director that is so well done and so much love shown to these films when they definitely did not need to be. And that director is Andy Sedaris. And one of my favorites from him is the absolutely trashterpiece 90s film called Hard Ticket to Hawaii. Now, for those of you that don't know who Andy Sedaris is or what Hard Ticket to Hawaii is, it is nothing like The Night of the Hunter, but it is so much damn fun to watch this. So the actual, this is, does it say what year this is from? God, this might even be 80s. Yeah, 87. 87 on this one. This is let me read the synopsis here. Set among the stunning islands of Hawaii, Donna Spear and Hope Marie Carlton star as two undercover federal agents running an inter-island cargo service. After accidentally freeing a killer mutant snake, the duo discovers a cache of diamonds that unleashes a smuggler's henchman after them. Cynthia Brimhall and Patty Duffick co-star and jump to their aid along with Rowdy, played by Moss, and Jade, played by Harold Diamond, for a series of nonstop explosions, car chases, karate fights, and love scenes that will blow you away. So this movie is hilarious. A lot of the acting in here is just bad. There are It's basically an homage to guns and explosions and boobs and everything that you could want in a movie. Um, Andy Sedaris himself does an intro to this, and they actually have an audio commentary, behind the scenes featurette, trailers. But the surprising thing here is it looks genuinely great. This is a bad movie, but it's one of those movies that is, it's not so bad it's good, but it's a bad movie, but it's genuinely entertaining the whole time. I mean, they talk about unleashing a mutant snake, and they show it at the very beginning, and then you forget about it for most of the running time. And then suddenly in the third act, oh yeah, we had a snake that we let loose. We got to do something with that. And so they bring up this terrible puppet snake, and it's great. It's so well done. There's so many guns and people getting shot, and then random like soft core scenes. It is hilarious. I understand I'm not getting the number of comments like I did about Night of the Hunter, but it genuinely is a classic. And this is from the 80s, and they did put out one, two, three, four, five, six, seven Andy Sedaris films. And if you want to be complete, I think one has not been released on Blu-ray, but Kino also put out one of the Andy Sedaris films. But this is just a classic girls and guns, crazy 80s and 90s film that is amazing. Genuinely, I love this film. Uh, Hilarious, but just genuinely a good movie. Okay, now to go much more modern than any of these, other than Headhunter. This is one that came out from Gunpowder and Sky. I just mentioned them because I got Her Smell from them. This is one that came out earlier this year that really kind of shocked me that I liked it at all. I thought the premise was interesting, and it sounded like one that I was going to want to sell immediately. But I put in, as I was working one day, Kid Candidate. And this is about here's the back. Hayden Pedigo for Place 2 Amarillo City Council. This is about Hayden Pedigo, who is running for city council in his town of Amarillo, Texas. And it says, in a time when young Americans increasingly feel cut off from politics and traditional institutions, Hayden Pedigo, a 24-year-old artist and musician in Amarillo, Texas, makes an unorthodox run for city council. Now, I watched this entire thing, and it's only 69 minutes. And then I also watched all of the bonus features, and those are, let's see, there's a film festival Q&A, deleted scenes, audio commentary, and Jeffisms. I watched everything but the audio commentary in less than like 40 minutes, I think. This film, I expected it to not be great, but I put it in, and the thing that really struck me here is that this is a perfect snapshot of a microcosm of the US political system. And it really spoke to me in the way that the things that happened to this person as a 24-year-old running for city council, you see on the same level every single day in big grand stage politics in the US. And there are so many things that this person speaks about as being obvious things that we want to do for the city, and they get shot down for certain reasons. And it's the same thing that happens with the country as a whole. And again, it's not it is a documentary, so it's not something that there's solid acting. It's just Hayden being himself, and his team around him, and actually talking to constituents, and narrating and speaking to the people presenting the documentary. And it was so well done in a way that I was not prepared for. The big thing for me nowadays is saving time. So a title that's only 70 minutes really speaks to me. That's what the main reason I put it on. I believe I watched this over a lunch break, and then while I should have been listening to another meeting, but this caught me, and I ended up paying way more attention to this. And this is still available, still with the slipcover on Vinegar Syndrome right now for partner labels only month, and it is just genuinely surprisingly good. The way that they show the birth of the run for city council, all the way leading up to whether he gets the position or not. I will not say right now if he does or not, but it is such a perfect snapshot of what you see for somebody literally running for president or senator or anything like that. And they face the same things as a city council candidate, and it's crazy to me. I'm not old. I'm not super young, but I'm not old, and I sincerely hope that we're able to break down some of the barriers that stand in the way of making positive changes. And it's one of those things that it sort of depressed me, but at the same time, it's one of those things that makes you feel at least sort of inspired. So, Kid Candidate from Gunpowder and Sky, genuinely, I think is great. Really, really well made. It's short and it's a breezy one to get through, but it's a nice release. So once again, all five of those. Headhunter from 101 Films, nice short, like single character horror film. He's technically not the only person in the film, but may as well be. Fish Called Wanda from Arrow Video. This is a British comedy, hilarious, great cast. And then Night of the Hunter, religious psychological thriller featuring Robert Mitchum in a haunting role. Hard Ticket to Hawaii, one that is just uh, chesticles and explosions, and Andy Sedaris from Mill Creek. And then Kid Candidate from Gunpowder and Sky, a documentary about Hayden Pedigo running for city council in Amarillo, Texas. And that is my 5 boutique Blu-rays that I hope that at least somebody checks out some of those. Other than that, I thought this was going to go a lot longer tonight. Not getting a ton of comments, but if there's any more questions, anything you want to see, anything you want to talk about, by all means, I'm happy to pull anything up, get any of the releases out. It is Christmas Eve tomorrow, and then Christmas on Saturday. I've got some more videos coming out. I put out my top 5 studio 4Ks today. I got another one coming out tomorrow. I've got more coming out over the last of the year to share what my favorites are for the entire year, and they're not all going to be copying what I do on the Discovering Cinema show with Flip. And speaking of that, next week we have our regular show with Flip on Tuesday, which is going to be huge. We're going over our top 20 releases no matter what. And it's something that is, it's going to be a big show next Tuesday. And Flip is going to be there, and I'm excited to have him back. And we may actually have something coming up on Monday on the channel as well. So if you haven't, please click on the description below and go subscribe to Discovering Cinema. We are going to be only putting that show on that channel in the first of the year. So by all means, please go subscribe over there. Um, Definitely gonna have more to talk about next week. Um, what was that Gold Ninja title about filmmaking? Are we talking about Gary Graver? I'm not talking about that one, right? Is it one of these? One of the, are we talking about Pearl Chang? Films of Pearl Chang? I don't think that was the one. When did I bring that up, Sardis? Let me know. Can I pull that Phantasm box down and mail it to you? You know what? Sure, absolutely. Maybe I'll put it in a box, in a box, in a box for you. That'll help. Okay. Oh, I was about to say, Christmas being this weekend, I guarantee you I'm gonna have some cool pickups next week. Primarily because I already know a couple of the things I'm getting. Hint, there are some shirts. And yeah, one of those I showed. Okay, let me show them all again. Bela Lugosi meets a Brooklyn gorilla. Wolf Devil director, the films of Pearl Chang. It might be that one because it says Wolf Devil director. Blood of the Dragon. Oh, no, I don't believe this is still available because this is just the contributor exclusive. And unfortunately, the limited edition release only had, I think, 500, and it sold out originally. And sometimes these Gold Ninja video titles, they do show up on eBay, but it's pretty damn rare because most people that get them, they're just fans and they hold on to them. What do I do to be able to afford all of these? I work for the federal government, actually, and I'm uh, well paid. I'm pretty high up in the federal government locally. I work from home. I also sell a lot of my titles. I do a lot of reselling on the side. I do like yard sale flipping, stuff like that. And yeah, I do what I can to collect. This is my only real hobby. So I do what I can. It's not easy. I check out sales. That's why I post some of these guides so that other people can make more informed decisions like myself. Yeah, that is. Will they have any not limited? No, unfortunately. Golden Ninja Video, they sell their limited title, and that's it. They don't. They're not like a boutique Blu-ray distributor in the classic sense. They're not like this booklet is limited, and then we will take out the booklet and sell the rest. No, they only sell that title. Um, how much for Wolf Dragon? Uh, leave a comment or PM me. Maybe we can talk about it. Let me watch it at least. Okay. Lots of stuff coming out in the next week. Like I said, another video tomorrow morning. Another video most days throughout the end of the year. I think that's the way I'm trying to do this. Uh, don't hold me to that just in case. I've got two young kids. Remember that they take a lot of time. Um, yeah, I think that's it. I'm struggling to think of anything else. UK Customs have the best Blu-ray collection, so I've heard. That's funny. Was that film previously available somewhere? Well, it's public domain. Every single thing they put out is available in the public domain. You might want to check out archive.org. It is everything on here is she wrote, directed, produced, and starred in 4 epic fantasy swordplay films: Matching Escort, Wolf Devil Woman, Dark Lady of Kung Fu, and General Invincible. And her movies are wildly imaginative, filled with eye-popping sights, and absolutely one-of-a-kind. Gold Ninja Video is proud to present all 4 of her directorial efforts in this 2-disc special edition, along with a treasure trove of special features that include exclusive commentary tracks, video essays, liner notes, and more. All kinds of stuff in there. And keep in mind, Gold Ninja Video, almost every single one of their releases, actually, I think I'm going to say every single one of their releases has a hidden special feature, and usually that special feature is a full-length movie. Anyone know what happened to the Robocop 4K? Removed it from their website. Interesting. No, I do not. I've not heard about that at all. Thanks, Lissa. Hope you like it over there. This is the one I've actually heard a lot more bad stories about Canadian Postal Service having a collection over UK. They supposedly have confiscated quite a bit, especially stuff from Severin over the last couple years. All right, friends, it has been a great night. Glad we could have a full show tonight. Thankfully, Flip is normal and healthy and back to it next week. Thanks for everybody that has been worried about him, and I really just hope everybody has a great holiday. Please, by the way, next time we hang out on next Thursday, share all your pickups. Let me know what you got. Let me know if you got anything amazing for Christmas. As usual, like I always say when ending these things, from one collector of all of this crap behind me to another. Have a good night.